Hey friends! I'm back in my dark little cave, my corner of the living room, which is the one spot that you don't see pictures of my son anywhere, but I gotta work with what I've got, right? So we're here for the week 19 update. I'm sorry if you hear any background noise. The AC is actually still going because kiddo is still asleep. I was planning to record this a little later in the day, but I also wasn't expecting him to wake up this late, so I figured I might as well do it now because I can focus entirely on the video and not have to like divide my attention. So pretty much this past week has been marked by really crap sleep, but it's because I'm having intensely vivid dreams, and it's gotten to the point where I'm getting anxious thinking about going to bed. Not because the dreams, they're not always bad dreams, mind you, but it's just, I know that as soon as I get exhausted enough to pass out, you guys know that I've always had a hard time falling asleep in general. Insomnia has always been present in my life as far back as I can remember, and probably even before that. So whenever I'm so tired that I can't stand it and I finally say to myself, okay, I know I don't want to, but it's time to go to bed, I know that I'm going to be at just the beginning of an hours-long journey, and that when I wake up I'm not going to feel any better. So yeah, the idea of going to sleep even has not been appealing to me. But we gotta sleep, right? So I'm still trying, I'm still sleeping, right, to the best of my ability, but the vivid dreams are out of control. And apparently this is something completely normal in pregnancy, because the estrogen makes you dream more frequently, apparently, and then the high progesterone in your system makes it easier for you to remember your dreams. So with those powers combined, and the fact that I typically already have really zany dreams, and I dream very frequently, which is another reason why I don't love going to sleep, because even when I'm not pregnant, it's likely that some weird stuff's going to be playing in my head while I'm trying to rest. It's pretty much guaranteed these days. So that's something that I'm dealing with, and that I can apparently expect to deal with throughout the remainder of my pregnancy. It is what it is. I was also feeling a little anxious earlier in the week because I'm not feeling little girl super constantly, but frequently enough where at least once a day I go, oh, there you are, hi, how are you, how you doing? But I went like a good day and a half where I didn't feel her at all, and it had me kind of like, on the one hand, like 70% of me was like, it's not a bad thing necessarily. It's not like you're expected to feel her constantly at this stage. I'm sure everything's fine. But 30% of me was like, well, what if something's not fine and I don't know and I can't do anything about it anyway, so why am I torturing myself, etc. And right when I started to spiral, I laid down and she started wiggling around so much and so strongly, like I cried. Obviously I've been crying a lot, but that's nothing new. So that made me feel tons better. But yeah, I mean, otherwise I've been having some heartburn, which is not fun. So I've been trying to be more mindful of not eating too much spicy food, which is hard for me because I love spicy food. And I've also been mindful of not immediately getting horizontal right after I eat, even though after I eat I just get into these slumps where like I'm really tired. But I've been trying my best to stay upright for as long as possible after I eat to try to avoid the potential heartburn that might follow, because it's just this like acidy thing. I mean, I feel like heartburn comes in two categories, right? It's either like the pressure in your chest, like something sitting on your chest, or it's the acid, like bleh. I've only been experiencing the acidy bit, but it's not fun and it lasts ages and I feel like I can't do anything about it. This whole video is not going to be me complaining though, I promise. Finally, everyone knows that I'm pregnant. I told all of my son's therapies, all of my son's therapists know, like everybody is on board now. I kind of had to because in this last week, I actually vlogged this last week. I've been on and off on the vlogging since my son had his medical emergency, but I did vlog this week, so I'll put that link up here. We had to go to his therapy center for one of his reevaluations, and so I figured they're going to see me. They may or may not notice a difference, but regardless, while I'm there, I might as well give them the courtesy of letting them know that in the next month and a half, there's like 6 days that we're gonna have to miss of therapy because of one appointment or another. So I'm gonna go ahead and give them the list of days all at once so that they can plan accordingly. And obviously they're gonna wanna know why we're missing so much. So I'm just gonna go ahead and tell them. And everybody was very, very happy for me. It was nice to announce like that and get everybody's support. So that's really cool. Speaking of appointments, in the coming week, so during week 19, I guess, I'm going to have my scan again. We're repeating the scan. We were supposed to go on Halloween, but they called me yesterday and they asked me if I could come in the day before because I guess it's easier for them to schedule that way. Ah, kiddo's up. So, so we're doing that. And also, baby shark. Also, I'm gonna see my ear, nose, and throat person, whoever they are. I'm meeting them this coming week as well. And I believe that part of their standard of care, hi baby, good morning. Their standard of care includes me doing a hearing test before I see the ENT. So I guess they want to rule out any hearing issues or like be prepared to address them before I talk to the doctor themselves. But that's all happening in the next week. Halloween is coming up in the next week as well. I have a really, really cute pumpkin themed shirt. And kiddo has a costume to wear, but we don't have any plans to do anything or go anywhere. So, because again, like I was gonna go to my scan on Halloween and so we canceled therapy, but now we're not doing that either. So, I don't know. Hopefully someone will let us hitch a ride with them and like, not hitch a ride literally, but hopefully somebody will invite us out trick-or-treating or something and maybe we'll go. We'll see what happens. Kiddo's never been much for trick-or-treating, but I just want to do something to commemorate the day. So we'll see how that works out. So today little girl is 19 weeks old, or 19 weeks big. She is 6 inches long and weighing half a pound or 8 ounces, which is wild. She's starting to develop that vernix stuff, the cheesy stuff that keeps her from getting all wrinkly in the amniotic fluid. So that's happening. That seems to be like the big thing this week as far as her development and obviously her growth spurt. Because I think at this point most systems are developed. It's just a matter of them like padding out, you know? Apparently I can expect to start getting leg cramps, so that's exciting. I remember getting them with my son, but I feel like I was farther along when I started to get them. And I'm much more like, typically you get leg cramps, generally, I don't know about in pregnancy, but generally it's because you're low in magnesium or low in potassium. But I take a lot of vitamins and I eat very well, so I don't think that that's going to happen. Also, dehydration could be a factor, and I am making it a point to stay super hydrated, so I don't know about that either. And then it does say that you should start to feel baby kicking soon, but if you don't, it's fine because it typically happens between week 18 and week 22, so it could be a little later. I've already been feeling her, so I'm not worried about that. Little girl is as big as Violet's mask from The Incredibles. I actually have never seen The Incredibles. Funny enough. She's as big as one of these like 90s cell phones. Interesting. As big as a Viewmaster. Funny story, when my husband and I first moved into our first place, we had on the coffee table a bunch of Viewmasters with a bunch of reels as kind of like a conversation starter for when we had guests. She's as big as a cornhole bag, as big as a cheese stick, or as big as a mango. Again, I feel like so many of these things are so entirely differently shaped and like sized that it's odd that they're all meant to represent the same sized being, but okay. And then I guess the last thing, this thing keeps reminding me that I need to do a registry. I've kind of been here and there adding stuff to like an Amazon list that might eventually become a registry if we do decide to do a baby shower. I feel like We need things, and we're very privileged to be surrounded by people that want to help us get things. And so it obviously makes sense to do a baby shower, but there's also COVID risk. And at this moment presently, this is in the UK. I don't think America will ever have these sorts of precautions set in place because America. But in the UK, they're considering restarting social distancing and compulsory masking because there's a new variant going around the world, not just in the UK, but this is what the UK is doing about it. The variant's called XEC, I think, and 1 in 4 people that catch this are perishing because it's a very, very strong respiratory situation. And so that's very scary. That's only ramping up now. And like I said, I don't expect that we in the States are going to take any sort of precautions whatsoever, but especially not to that degree where like we're social distancing again and compulsory masking, etc. Even if we did, I don't think people would comply. So the fact that that threat is out there makes me want to not gather. The advantage we have is that around the time that I would be eligible seems silly, but like around the time where typically it makes sense to do your baby shower, which is like late in the 2nd trimester or early in your 3rd trimester, it'll be about January, and that means that the weather will be nice, presumably. So we could just try to do everything completely outdoors and mitigate. I mean, that doesn't mean that it's a foolproof way that nobody will get sick, but will at least mitigate to some degree potential spread. As you can tell, I'm not super convinced by that idea. There's also the fact that it is January and people will be like just barely starting to recover from the holidays as far as like money spent on gifts, etc. So the timing could be a little, unless we start planning now, come up with a date now and tell people about it now so that people can factor their baby shower gift giving into their holiday gift giving budgets. I'm trying to be practical, right? I don't want to like surprise people with, hey, another party, another thing you have to buy stuff for. And that's also not to say that you must buy something to come to the baby shower, but I feel like that's kind of like the societally expected thing. Like the whole point of the baby shower is to shower the expectant parents with gifts for their new baby, and so if you're not going to do that, then why are you doing a baby shower, right? Kiddo's getting impatient, so let's show you guys the belly, 19-week belly. And I think that with that, we're gonna wrap this video up. So thank you guys for being here. I was gonna ask you guys for suggestions of things to do on my registry, but by the time you watch this, my registry will be long finished. The baby shower, if it happens, will be long done, etc., etc. So forget that part. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Next week, I'll be 20 weeks, officially at the halfway point, and I should have plenty to talk about because I'll have gone to the ENT, and I'll also have gone to our presumably final, like, rounding out anatomy scan. So that will be complete by the next time I talk to you guys. So we'll talk then. And for now, thanks for being here. Bye.